What's up, everybody? ShonnyDman here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys had yourselves a great weekend. We are back with a brand new guest for this episode. I believe this is episode 43 of Nerd Talk. So I'm very excited to have this guest on. So to get us kicked off and going, tell us who you are and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Of course. Hello, everyone. I'm Brideofspiderman, or you guys can call me MJ or Noemi, which that's my real name. And I'm actually a content creator, streamer, and cosplayer.
Hey. How long you've been? Let me see. Which one I want to start with? Let's start with cosplaying. How long have you been cosplaying?
I've been cosplaying, I would say, since 2015. So
Oh,
basically, I started off as a teenager. I was in high school when I started my journey as a, cosplayer, and from there, I not only grew my huge interest into Spider-Man, which evolved to all things Marvel, and of course the Power Rangers, of course.
okay. What was your first cosplay that you did?
My first cosplay was actually X-23 from actually Wolverine's daughter. So I was barely, starting off cosplay. So that was like a little outfit that I put together based on my closet. And the clothes, I kind of made it myself out of foam and foiling paper. I mean, I was basically a start off, so I have to start somewhere. And then
Right.
after after that, it just led to, Metal Gear Solid because the Phantom Pain was coming out, and I was able to get the parts that I need for Quiet. And yeah, and it also leads up to my spider suits, which I'm very proud of until this day.
When it comes to the spider suits, which one was the first one you started out with?
My first suit was actually Spider MJ by this one artist. If I could pronounce it right, it's Jamie something, but he actually, did the art print for Spider MJ, and I thought like, okay, so that's a really cool suit. Maybe I'll think about getting her. And of course I got the wig afterwards, and then I started doing shoots from there. And social media, like I never expected for such a huge community to actually, be bigger than ever and also have a connection to the entertainment industry. And yeah, it was just an
Okay.
amazing experience.
And so you've done your X-23, Spider MJ. I think I saw on your page you did Black Cat.
Yeah,
So,
from the video game, basically, and also the classic one I did too.
oh, okay. Which one's your favorite? Which one of those two is your favorite?
I would say the PS4 because ever since I started playing the, Marvel Spider-Man game, it was like one of the best games I ever played so far. I mean, all the Spider-Man games are really cool, even the movie-based ones, but I gotta say this one has such a great story. And I mean, MJ is cool and all, but I kind of, got a more impact on Black Cat. Her sassiness, even her backstory too,
Oh, yeah.
which I kind of somewhat relate to her.
I've enjoyed. I haven't played. I mean, I guess it depends on Spider-Man games because there's been so many of them. Um, I I'm not a big fan of the two. Well, actually, let me rephrase. I haven't played one of them, but the two Amazing Spider-Man Andrew Garfield ones. I haven't played
Yeah.
those. I played the. Oh, let me see. I played the first one, but I've never played the second one. Uh, I was never a big fan of the first one because, like, I don't know if you played it or not, but the way you,
I haven't played them, but I've seen the cutscenes and the gameplays of it. And I was
yeah,
like, I'm not sure if I'll ever get the chance to play it.
yeah, I just never liked it because of the way the camera sits. It's like so
Yeah,
close up, and so I'm just like, I don't like this. But um, uh, to, the three Spider-Man games with Tobey Maguire are fun. Spider-Man Web of Shadows, very fun. Ultimate Spider-Man, that was for the PS2. That was fun
yeah,
as well. And yeah, obviously Marvel Spider-Man. I love that game. I'm really
yeah.
excited for the second one.
Me too. I still have yet to pre-order my copy, but have been so busy, and a lot of things have been going on. But don't worry, I'll definitely get my copy.
Oh
Knowing
yeah,
me,
yeah. I
I'll get
definitely see the
anything Spider-Man.
PS5 in the background. So,
Yeah,
uh, I'm very excited because I remember the other week when they released like that 12-minute gameplay teaser of it. I was just like, this looks so amazing.
and
This
not
looks
to
really
mention
good.
Yeah, Peter's like dark talk when it comes to Venom.
Yeah. So do you, I know we got a ways to go for the game comes out. So obviously we know Venom's in the game. Who do you think is going to be Venom?
Besides Venom, I mean, that's a really good question, but because I know Craven's in there, and I'm not sure who else that I can recall.
I think
But we are definitely
Lizard.
going to
You
see a
see,
debut
Lizard's
for
in
Harry
there.
Osborn.
Yes, because I think I don't know for sure, but I swear I saw at one point there was talks about Mysterio was going to be in the game. Uh,
Hmm.
I
First I
do,
heard of, but
yeah,
they never mentioned anything about that.
I do hope we see. Was it Wraith? Is that her? The what was her? The cop lady from the first Marvel Spider-Man game. I can't remember her
Hmm.
name. Uh,
Silver Sable?
no, let's see. What was it? Watanabe?
Oh, Yuri.
Yeah. I hope we see her because I know obviously with that DLC that went on with her, I do hope we get to see her in the game as well.
Definitely.
Uh, sorry, so you're a big fan of the Spider-Man movies, also correct?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
which one's your favorite?
Oh my God. This is the question I get asked a lot, especially when I, connect with my fellow cosplayers and my viewers out there. So, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I really love the Tobey Maguire films and the Andrew Garfield films as well, but I gotta say my most favorite has to be No Way Home. That movie, when I went to see it on opening day, it really made me cry. Getting to see, the two Spider-Man that I actually grew up with since middle school, well, elementary school to middle school and high school. I never expect to see them again into this one film. Also teaching, the MCU Peter how to become a better Spider-Man and also to grow up a bit. So I think like he had like two mentors that have been Spider-Man for all these years and to teach this new one, the ropes. It's kind of the same reference to, Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah, those are also good movies. Into the Spider Verse and Across the Spider Verse. Those are really good
Oh yeah.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
as well. Uh, so so with your cosplaying, uh, what's what's a cosplay project that you're working on right now? And didn't weren't you just at a con?
Yeah, Anime Expo.
Oh
I
yeah, that was
I
I
haven't
saw
been
videos of
at con
that.
since 2016, so kind of felt great to be back, but it was hella packed, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, yeah. I remember I seen on TikTok people were like posting videos and everything of how packed it was. And I was like, oh my
Yeah,
god, that's a lot of people.
it really was. But it wasn't that packed when I went on the third day because yeah, it was really cold. I was expecting to be hot, but it didn't get that warm until later on. And it was pretty easy to get in, like I didn't have no issues, going through, different hallways, the exhibitors booth, and of course the artist alley. It was pretty much simple with me and my friends were just there, we were chilling. And it actually not only turned out to be a good experience for me, but and also a small high school sorry, a high school reunion because I haven't seen some fellow friends that I knew in high school and I never knew they were into this nerd stuff. So that was
Oh,
another big hype for me.
okay. Uh, I think because I think I had one of my guests that I've had on before. I think she went to Anime Expo. I could be
Oh, really?
wrong. I think. Wait, where's Anime Expo?
Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, so she did go. My friend
Oh,
Hannah,
cool.
who's one of the guests I had on a while back, she went. And then I had some other people who live out in that area that I've had on as guests, and I think that they went as well. But yeah, I was like really surprised on how packed that was, and I was just like, ooh, that's a little claustrophobic. If you're a claustrophobic person, that's a little tight for my liking.
True.
And so how many cons have you been to?
God, I might lose track, but I mean, I'm gonna have to make a guess. I would say probably like maybe 10 or 6. Because basically the cons that I usually go to every year are pretty much, very locally until last year I went to New York for the first time.
Oh, how was that?
It was amazing. I went all 4 days, but I it was the first event that I went all 4 days, but it was so much different from San Diego Comic Con. I'll tell you that. Way better than San Diego Comic Con.
So I've always wanted to go to San Diego Comic Con and New York Comic Con.
Yeah, but San Diego is not that easy to get into.
Oh,
If you get the tickets, like lucky for you, but the thing is you don't know which days are available. Because I went to San Diego Comic Con on Thursday. Yeah, it was fun just to see what the experience is like, but it was day one, so there was not that much to see.
was it what did you get like? Is it like a 1 day pass or is it like an all weekend
Yeah,
pass?
it was a 1 day pass.
Oh, ew.
Pretty much everyone out, every badge was sold out.
Okay. Uh, what are some other cons that you've like heard about that you want to go check out?
Definitely Hallmat, which is in Orlando, and of course, I would definitely check out Disney World and Universal Orlando. Katsucon, I've been hearing so much about that. What else? Dragon Con, C2E2, and Fan Expo, either Boston or Philadelphia. And I have some friends that are living in Boston and Philadelphia. Oh yeah,
Uh,
and this other one, Comic Plazua, which is in Texas or San Antonio, Texas.
I think let's see, Fan Expo. I think there's about 4 or 5 people that I know that went to that this past. This was actually like a couple of last month, I think it was. Uh, and then I have 2 that I know that are going to Dragon Con uh, in late August, and I'm also going to Dragon Con as well. Uh, so I'm very excited because I've mentioned before to guests, like I've been to a con before locally, but I was never really like all that into it. I only went because like a friend of mine wanted to go because she had friends there. She wanted to see, so I was like, all right, I guess I'll go just to keep you company. But after like doing this podcast for as long as I have now, uh, I'm like, okay, I want to go check some of these cons out, and so my plan is to like each year try to go to different cons, and and just experience it that way. So I'm very excited to go to Dragon Con. This year it's Thursday through a Monday, but I'm more than likely only going to go 2 days, primarily because Dragon Con lands on the start of college football, and so I got to be sure I'm able to watch my favorite team play. So.
Oh, I see. How many
Uh,
days is that con, if you don't mind my asking?
it's on Labor Day weekend, so I believe it starts on a Thursday, and
Oh,
ends on a
that's
Monday.
nice. Okay. That will make like a good Labor Day vacation.
Yeah, yeah. It's in Atlanta, Georgia, which is only about a 2 hour drive from me, so that's not really that big of a deal. So relatively close, I think. So I'm going to do that this year, and either next year I'm gonna try. I gotta be sure I pay attention to them, but I'm gonna try to go to Fan Expo and either that. Well, there's let's see, Fan Expo in Dallas, or is it Dallas? I can't remember the names of them. There's too many to remember. There's one in Dallas, and then there's one in Philadelphia that I'm looking at to potentially go to next year. So
That's
I
cool.
actually probably should start figuring and planning that out. We'll see. We'll get around to it. So when you're not cosplaying or streaming, what does your average everyday look like?
Um, Basically, I just try to, be active. Like, sometimes I'm usually, at home, and sometimes I would, do some chores, help around the house. And basically, if I want to, stream on Twitch, like I can do that. And I recently got back out of retirement. I mean, for those of you that are watching, or some of you have been following me for years, I used to participate in this folkloric group since I'm Bolivian. So I basically, I'll do different dances based on my culture. So it's been 6 years since, I stopped going, and it's because of college too. But I'm actually happy to announce that I finally got out of retirement, and I'm basically going back to, representing my culture and my country.
Oh, okay. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah. Because knowing that I'm Bolivian, like I always have this greatest pride of, being Bolivian and all. Because not only did I like the food, even I went there since I was at a very young age. I saw how the country was. Sure, it's so much different compared to here, but what I really like about it is some of the traditional dances that is being performed there. And the last time I went, I believe it was back in 2018, they were hosting a festivity called Ucrupiña, which is one of our goddess or great mothers. So around that time, which it's coming around soon, August is basically the month that we celebrate our our god. So they host like this great festivity and a huge parade with different dances, which there's morenada, caporales, diablada, tobas, and some other traditional dances that I never even heard of, which is really interesting to me.
Okay, that is interesting. So what?
Yeah.
So is that like just like a weekend thing, or how long does that typically last?
I would say it's just like every weekend, like around Sunday, because we do practice and whenever we have events coming up, like we sometimes practice on that day or sometime in the weekend. I mean weekdays.
Oh, okay, okay. What kind of food are we talking here?
Oh, um, I'll tell you about that because like we tend to eat like big portions. I mean, that's like what we're known for. And some of the dishes that I told my friends about, like one of the greatest dishes that I would definitely recommend, or actually maybe three. The first one being silpancho, which is actually meat with rice, so fried egg, and also a fried potato as well. And this really cool special salsa that we use called yahua, which is a spicy salsa. If you guys can take the heat or anything like that, you guys try like the non-spiciness. And as for the other two, there's peanut soup, sopa de maní, and pique, which is French fries, sausage, and meat. Really good cuisines, I'll tell you that.
It sounds really good. I, I'm not much of a spice person. I don't mind eating. How spicy are we like talking here?
That all depends on the person because sometimes, they make it into, medium or, above average.
Oh,
Me, I can really take the spiciness because I got so used to eating yakwa like during my middle school days.
I'm okay. It definitely depends with me when it comes to spiciness of food. Um, and so I definitely would have to try. Would love to try that one day. That sounds like all that sounds really good. You said peanut soup.
Yeah, sopa de maní.
That's interesting. I never heard of peanut soup, so that's a new thing
Yeah,
for me.
definitely. And the thing with that dish is like you have to make sure it's really cooked well. Otherwise, like, some things can happen to your stomach or something like that. That's why I'm saying, because like every time my dad cooks it or my family members cooks it, I don't know how they were able to make that dish so delicious and also a great, make it turn out great. But based on like what my mom and my family members were telling me, like, you need to be careful or how you cook it because, it might trigger the stomach or something if you did it the wrong way. So that's like a really delicate dish that I really need to master.
It's interesting. The
That's what I'm
only
saying. Like
time.
every chef in my family, like it's magic.
uh,
They're magic.
I remember a couple of years ago, I went to Cuba twice, and it was very cool because it was, got a chance to try different food. Even though it's kind of somewhat of the same food that you can kind of get here, but the first year I went, we had, it's like I remember having like three different kinds of rice: the white rice, brown rice, yellow rice. We had goldfish, pork,
Goldfish.
yes, uh, some pork, chicken, and one of the cool moments I loved the first time I went to Cuba was some members of a local church there, they uh, they roasted an entire pig for us, and so they started at like they got it dressed and ready like at 2 or 3 in the morning, and so they had been like hand rotating it for like 6 hours, and it was just like really really good uh, food to eat. The second year I went, it was more seafood based. Let's see. We had more goldfish. We had swordfish. Uh,
Swordfish.
yeah.
How
Um,
are you eat? How are you able to eat that?
I just didn't. I didn't think about it. I just ate it. I was like, here, let me try this and let me see. And it was fine. I had no issue with it. We had like lobster. Was it lobster etouffee? I think it's called. Uh, and we had sea turtle. So
Sea
that,
turtle.
yeah, that was a interesting experience. Listen, it tasted good, but it was definitely a interesting
Something.
taste of food. Uh, and then what's because I do try to like learn about different cultures because at the college that I went to, we had like an international uh, uh, dorm, and it was very fun because we would have every year around April, we would have this thing called the International Festival. And so the international students would
Oh, that's
bring in
cool.
different like artifacts and like different items from their countries. And we would just like go around the room. It's like there would be like maybe 20 different displays, and we'll just go around. People would go around and learn about different like the different countries that our students were from. And then we would have like singing, dancing going on. I remember, I think there was a girl from Sweden. She did tap dancing. Uh, there was a guy from Korea that sang a song in Korean, but like nobody really understood what he was singing except for the Korean girls. And so it was very fun to watch everybody represent their different cultures. Uh, yeah, it's very fun. Uh,
Oh yes.
so with your Twitch streaming, how often do you stream?
I try to stream like, 3 times a week. I mean, I know I kind of, been on and off lately, but yeah, most of the games that I usually stream sometimes is, sometimes Spider-Man I would do Fall Guys, Fortnite, and I recently got into this one game. It's a really scary game, and some people say it's like really scary and really extreme. And it was actually Outlast. So
Oh,
playing that for the first time, it did kind of got my heart to beat really fast, but then after playing it for a while, I got used to it. Okay, this is not that bad until Outlast Trials came out, which is basically co-op and it's really fun because having the horror packed into it, and I would say it's better than Dead by Daylight.
I've never played Dead by Daylight. I have seen gameplay of it. It is on my maybe to do list of games to try out, but uh, I don't get. There are some games that like freak me out. Um, let's see, a game that you should try. I don't know if you tried it before, but a game you should try is like Until Dawn.
Then Chill Dawn, what's that one about?
That one, it's one of those kind of games that like your choices affect the outcome of the story, and so
Oh,
yeah, and so like one wrong choice and like a character that you have can die just like that. I think there's like six. I think there's like six characters in the game, and it has like multiple different endings. Like all six can survive. All of them can die. Two of them survive. It's like just your different choices throughout the game affect who all survives towards the end of it. Uh, it's a very I love those kind of games. So there's that. Uh, there is the Dark Picture anthology games. Those are basically the same kind where like your choices affect the outcome, but those are pretty fun.
I've
Uh,
been hearing about those type of games, like, whatever choice you make, like it kind of impacts the outcome, like you mentioned
yeah,
before. I heard some games about that. Even this one game that my friend recommended me, I think it has to do with the lambs. I mean, I don't know the name of it. I keep
oh yeah,
forgetting the name of it.
that's that sounds familiar. I can't think of the name, but I think I came across that game before.
Yeah,
Um,
the name is just on the top of my head.
it's not Silence of the Lambs. It's a movie.
No, no, that's a movie.
I'm sure it'll come to me later. Let's see. Slender: The Arrival.
Um,
That's an interesting game to play.
Never heard of it, but yeah,
Oh
I can
yeah,
actually, check that out.
it features Slender Man. If you know anything about that, so,
Oh, I know a little bit about Slenderman, but yeah, he's a no face, creepy looking dude.
yeah. Um, it's a very interesting game because there are moments when you like, cause you have like a handheld camera, and you're like having to just go around trying to find different things, and there are moments where like the camera starts to static, and then he just
Yeah,
like appears right there, and
but I would
it's
say like, that's kind of scary.
yeah, especially
I'm
when you
all
play in
about
the
like,
dark.
yeah, I'm all about like jump scares and, unexpected. That's
Definitely.
like, the thing about me with horror video games.
Oh, I just love horror video games. I know they're gonna scare me and like really test me, but I just love horror games.
Oh yeah,
And horror movies. I do love horror movies.
you gotta love them.
So, what are you going to college for, by the way?
Oh, I actually graduated last year, so
Oh,
I'm basically done with college so far.
oh, okay. What so far? Are you planning on going
Oh yeah.
back?
Um, no, actually, I'm actually gonna search for a job or do freelance stuff, basically.
What was your degree in?
Multimedia production and journalism.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So there's a story behind that because, throughout my years of going to, or ever since I came into college, I did not know what I wanted to do. And funny enough, like ever since I started cosplaying and went to my first convention, it kind of helped me figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And so multimedia production and journalism have a similar connection to the entertainment industry, or, basically reporting anything related to pop culture and entertainment wise. So with my passion by going to these conventions and cosplaying and getting to know a little bit more about, what the film industry is involved or video games in general, like I just want to spread that. And I'm always ahead of that. And when I talk about it with some people, like one example will be Avatar: The Way of Water. I did a reaction video to that film. I went to D20, I covered it for D23, and I never expected that, to be the talk of the public. So I started talking about that and I was like, okay, so I'll just keep, doing that. Even Avatar is one of my favorite films too. Not the anime, but the Navi people.
Uh, I haven't watched Way of Water. I know it's out on HBO Max, right?
Oh, Disney
Max.
Disney Plus.
Uh, well, the crazy thing is, it came out this year, right? Was it this year?
Uh it came out last year.
Oh, really? Wow, I didn't think it's been almost a year since it came out. Well, the first time I watched the first one, it came out when I was, I believe, a junior in high school. So like 2009,
Yeah,
2010, I think is when it first came out.
yeah. I was in elementary school when I went to see that movie, funny enough.
So because we watched it for Earth Day, and so
Oh, really?
which was fine because we got out of class and got to watch a movie for like the last half of the day. But yeah, I was just like, it's been over quite a while since I saw the first one, and here's the second one out of I think four, five films that are planned.
Yeah.
And so is that so? Your reaction to that, is that like up on like YouTube where people can go and watch
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it's up on YouTube. And yeah, basically my reaction, that was like all true because I've been waiting for this film to come out for so long. And you have no idea what James Cameron actually, did with this film. And he went all out. Like he used technology that was never like, applied yet into the film industry. So I believe he's a man with not only with big creativity, but also a man of science. Or I don't know if that's true, but he seems to know like techniques here and there.
Yeah, yeah. It was very it was like when the first one came out, it was like very like technology wise, it was very ahead of the game.
Yeah, motion capture.
Yeah, and so because I think because it came out I can't remember what all movies came out during that time, but I know like the MCU was starting to get going. I believe there were some X-Men movies that were out, and then some other like pretty interesting movies that were going on at the time. But yeah, from like visually, I remember watching it as a kid. It was like really cool to see. The designs were cool. Even though as a kid, even though when I was in high school watching it, I was just kind of like, this kind of reminds me of like Pocahontas, but it
Yeah, I
was
mean
still a really
that's what
good
everybody
story.
was saying.
Yeah, uh, but I enjoyed it. I do need to watch it. It is on my list of movies that I need to watch for sure. Um, it's pretty long too. I think I can't remember how long it is.
It is really long, but if you understand it a little bit, or if you see in the first film, like you'll kind of, tie things together. And also the music also, makes you feel like you're in that actual universe, Pandora, basically, because it's connected with spirituality and nature.
So what? So other than Avatar, what have been some of your favorite movies that you've watched?
Aside from Avatar, I also like, some sci-fi horror as well. Like my before Spider-Man, my dad also got me into Terminator, which is another
Oh,
franchise I really like.
Terminator. That's good. That's a good choice.
Yeah, so that was a film that I started off, until, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. And I did have a little crush on Edward Furlong, basically John Connor himself.
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah, I'll tell you that he's really good looking. Even, looking at where he's at now. I mean, I still see him as that little kid that, he portrayed John Connor, so don't judge me.
Oh yeah. I've always loved Terminator series.
But we don't talk about Genesis. No way.
I
We don't talk
actually
about
did I what? I think is that the one where like it's like a young Sarah Connor.
Yeah,
Oh, isn't that the one where like John Connor is like basically the Terminator?
yeah. I was like,
Oh
nah,
yeah,
you guys are screwing that franchise. But Dark
yeah.
Fate, I guess it was okay. I mean, they
I
did
haven't
bring
watched
back
that one.
some. Oh, okay. I might as well not say it for you. So
No,
you
it's
can go.
fine. I doubt will get around to watching it, so it doesn't really matter as much to me.
Yeah. In a sense, I kind of liked it, but it kind of pissed me off a little bit.
um, the first one I like, second one I like, the third one. I'm okay with the third one. There's another one that has Christian Bale as John Connor.
Oh, Salvation.
I like that one because the
That
concept
was
was pretty
pretty.
cool. Uh, so I did like that, and I think that's all of them except for Genesis and Dark Fate. I think there's like five, six total.
Yeah, but what really sucks is that those two films, the last two films, like they were not connected to the oldies. So Salvation
Uh,
was the only one that was connected to the oldies. And I wish they could have, made a continuation of that because they finally figure out how they can stop Skynet. Even, John Connor's wife was pregnant. Also see like this, the story of the daughter or the son.
yeah, yeah, that was yeah. I just remember it took me a while to realize when I was watching Genesis. I was just like, now at the time watching it, oh, that's an interesting plot twist. John Connor becomes the thing that he has been trying to destroy. It's an interesting plot
Hmm.
twist, but overall, the movie was just not that great.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I was just like, eh. Um, because with these long franchises, depending on what they are, like at a certain point, they kind of just like lose my interest. Like the Fast and the
It's all
Furious
over the
films.
place.
So it's like 10 Fast and the Furious films now. Wait,
Yeah. I would say the best one that I really like was, at the time, they, did all the racing before they even team up with the CIA.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah. Tokyo Drift is one of my favorites. That one's really
nice.
fun. But then just at a certain point when it kind of like it started like racing cars in space or things like that, I was just kind of like, this isn't.
Hmm.
No, I'm gonna check out here.
This film is all about racing. We need to focus on racing.
Yep. Let's see. The Jurassic Park series. Those are good. I
Uh,
do enjoy those. I've always loved Jurassic Park as a kid, and even now. Um, some are good. Some are all right.
yeah,
Uh, the
but I
Alien
kind of prefer the old
franchise.
ones better.
Oh yeah, I think with the Jurassic Park ones, obviously the first two are classics. Uh, Jurassic World is like third place for me. It's primarily because like let's see, Jurassic Park came out in 1992. I think it
I
was.
think so. That was like way before I was born.
so so Jurassic World is number three for me because I remember watching Jurassic Park as a kid, and then now as an adult, you find it was the idea of like the park finally is made. That dream that we heard about in the first film is finally made in this film. Obviously, things still go haywire, but it was just that nostalgia that was like very very fun to see. Um, what are the franchises? Pirates of the Caribbean.
That one's a really good one, but like the last one, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like one of my favorites, but like, I think it was kind of interesting. Like, you know, it's kind of the same story as the first one, because Barboza has a daughter,
Oh, yeah,
and that
I,
there's like, oh, another pirate in this like family circle.
they probably could have honestly. A lot of people, at least that I've seen on the internet, have like the first three Pirates of the Caribbean movies are classics. Like
Yeah,
that's those they view At World's End as the conclusion of that trilogy of that series of films. Obviously, we get like two more after. They aren't really as good as those. They got really lighthearted with them, and I think especially with like the first three films, they were very dark and like, and that's what I loved about them. They were very dark. It wasn't as comedic or anything like that. But later on, it just kind of got like just comedic and just light. And I was just like, I don't know. I mean, they're fine films. They're not bad, but it's just kind of like you kind of took what made Pirates of the Caribbean so good, and it's just man.
absolutely.
Let's see. Have you ever watched the Alien franchise movies?
Yeah, I actually did. I mean, those aliens really creep me out, despite the fact, like, they do impregnate you, but then they burst out of your chest. But it was interesting, especially Sigourney Weaver, since she's a really good actress too, and I
Oh yeah.
admire her work, especially in Avatar as well.
Uh,
But I also don't talk about like the newest one. Covenant was not the greatest. I'll
oh
tell
you
you
didn't
that.
oh you didn't like that one?
I didn't like that one.
Uh, that one was I don't know, I kind of like that one. I think I would still put Prometheus above it.
Yeah,
Um,
Prometheus kind of explains the whole situation of how the aliens came to be.
yeah, yeah. Uh, there was just like one. I remember one scene that like stands out in Alien Covenant was one of the female soldiers. I think she was like showering and like it was before the alien was fully grown. It was like that white version of it, and like it just goes and attacks her. I was like, oh, that's just terrible because because the way if you look at it right, it like kind of bites her in her neck, and I was just kind of like, how is she screaming if it's biting her in the neck? Or it's just something. But
It's so brutal.
yeah, Alien Resurrection was fine.
Yeah, it was all right,
So Alien
despite the
Three
fact they
was
cloned
bad.
Blake.
Uh, well, I mean, I still enjoy it. I still enjoy Alien Resurrection. I think I
Alien
still.
versus Predator, I really like that one. The first Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, yeah, that one was good. The second one was I liked the second one also, but it's just too dark. It was just like the lighting was just too dark. It's just like you could sometimes you could just barely see anything that was going on and need a little bit more brightness in it. But yeah, the first Alien versus Predator was
Yeah.
I was hyped as a kid because I think at that point I seen almost all of them, both the Predator and the Alien films, and so I always loved the Predator as a kid. The Alien scared me, but I always loved the Predator. Um, and then those movies by itself, the Predator films, the first one is good. The second one is it's all right. And then there's Predators, which is good. Uh, then there's The Predator, which is bad. And then the newest
I heard
one that
Prey
came
was a
out,
really good film, which
yeah,
I didn't get a chance to see that one yet.
Prey. I really love Prey. It is really really good. I think that came out last year or maybe
Maybe
two
last
years
year or
ago.
maybe 2 years ago, maybe.
I
I
think
I
so.
couldn't know.
Because I remember when they were talking about talking about the movie, because I love the concept that they did with it. Just go back to the beginning when the alien, like the Predator, first arrived on Earth. Uh, it was just a cool concept, and I really enjoyed it. I know there were people who hated on it, uh, and
Oh my
so,
God, no!
so
No, not. I'm so sorry about that. My battery just died on me. I do apologize.
no, you're fine. You're fine. You're good. No, you're completely fine. You're all right.
Okay.
But yeah. Um, oh, everything I had it in the back of my mind, but I don't remember what I was gonna say. Um,
Oh, we were talking about Prey.
oh yeah. Um, yeah, there were people. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there were people who mainly there were guys who were hating on the idea that of the character choice because they went with a Native American female, and it was just like,
Mhm.
there's no way she could like take on a predator and all this stuff. And it, like, if you watch the film, she clearly did. And so,
And it
uh,
was really hardcore. I'll tell you that.
yeah, yeah, it was just like it was just a very fun movie to watch. I was so yeah, I wish so when after it came out, I watched it. Originally, after I watched it, I was just kind of like, I wish the only thing that would have made it top tier for me. I don't know if it would have. I don't know if it would have beaten the original Predator, regardless. But I think what would have made it top tier for me is if they originally started the movie out with them speaking. Uh, I can't remember what the precise Native American language there was. Uh, I want to say was it Navajo? I think that may have been it, but I wish they would have like had them speak in their natural language, and then just had subtitles for people to like understand what they're saying. They did do that. They did release a version where it's dubbed, but I don't like it as much. I just wish they would have went ahead and originally released it with them speaking um, in their native language, and then just had subtitles. And then also, it should have been like a theater release because it was really that good.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, it was really really good. What other movie franchises?
There's also The Lost Boys. Have you seen that one?
Lost Boys, Lost Boys, Lost Boys. What is that? Tell me about that one. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, The Lost Boys, it used to be an old classic, and my dad actually got me into that film, surprisingly. It's a vampire movie, so basically, these two people that actually moved from, I don't know where, but into California. And there was something wrong with like, I forgot the name of the place, but like there was like in an area, like there's been encounters of vampires, vampire hunting, and, or I should say like, vampires roaming around and hunting people. So
Mm-hmm.
there was like a lot of people missing until, this one dude actually encountered this attractive girl, and then these people who are actually vampires started messing with him, and he kind of drank something, even though the girl told him, not to drink it because it's blood, the blood of the vampire. So by drinking that, he actually became one of them.
When did this come out?
19 around the 90s, I should say. It's a really good film. I'll tell you that.
I wonder if I can. Can I find it? That
I
sounds
believe
very
it's
interesting.
not Edward Furlong. I mean, Corey Haim and Corey Fieldman was in that film. He's the actor from The Goonies.
Oh, okay.
That's the
Oh,
film that I would recommend.
1987.
Yeah, somewhere around that time.
Oh, cool. You can watch it. Okay. Watch it on Amazon Prime. Okay. I have to check that out. That sounds very interesting, actually.
It's a really
Uh,
good film.
I love a good vampire movie,
I
depending
would
on
say
what it
it's like
is.
I would say it's like, my very first vampire movie after Twilight. Or I would say before.
My gosh, Twilight. I remember watching that, and I was just like, "This is." I actually, you know what? I actually enjoyed Twilight. I didn't watch the other ones, but I enjoyed watching the first one. It was the
I
first
was a
time
big Twilight fan.
yeah, I was like, this is the first time I've seen a like non-scary vampire. They just sparkle in the sun. So that's
Yeah. I'm glad they made like the version of the vampire more cooler and with these abilities. I really
hmm.
like that compared to like, being afraid of the sun. But yeah.
uh I didn't I enjoyed I don't know if you've seen it, but Dracula Untold.
Oh, that's a new one, right?
That one came out like the mid 2000s,
Oh,
like
never heard of that
2012,
one.
13, 14. I think that's where it came out. Uh, it's a pretty fun. They they did it because they were trying to create their own like monster universe, kind of like what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is doing. Like several different franchises tried to start that. So it was called the Dark Universe, and so it would have had like Dracula. It had the Mummy. If you saw the one with is it Tom Cruise?
Think so.
Yeah, it was him. It's supposed to be like the Wolfman, the Invisible Man, like old classic Hollywood monsters. They were trying to create their own cinematic universe with them. It didn't go anywhere. And then obviously there is the monster verse like Godzilla, King Kong. That was doing pretty good. So there's a lot of Hollywood that tried to copy the Marvel cinematic film formula, and it just didn't work out as well as they thought it was going to.
But it
So,
worked out for Detective Pikachu, I'll tell you that.
oh yeah,
And the Mario movie.
I love Detective Pikachu. I thought that was so fun. See, now that they've done that, I'm just kind of like, now you really don't have an excuse to do like a live action Pokemon series or something like that.
Yeah,
So,
I definitely agree.
um, the a project that I'm working on now, I got to go back and rewatch them. But like the Scream franchise movies, I love those. Uh, except for the third one. The third one's not that great, but the other ones are good. Um, so, uh, because it has like because Jenna Ortega's in the last two, and she's very popular
Yeah, with the
nowadays.
Wednesday series, like she did an amazing job.
Yeah, yeah, she did. Like a lot of people didn't know who she was. The first time I saw her was in a movie called X. Uh,
Surprisingly, the first time I actually found out about Jenna Ortega was from Jane the Virgin.
oh,
And
really?
yeah, she played the younger version of Jane in Jane the Virgin.
She was also I didn't notice at the time while I was watching something on YouTube they were talking about it, but like she was also in Iron Man 3. She was
Oh
like
yeah, that too. I forgot
yeah,
about Iron Man 3, yeah.
and so
She made her debut on there and then Jane the Virgin.
I was just like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't notice that, but yeah, she's very popular nowadays for sure. So and then like I remember when after Wednesday, I mean actually not long after the episode where she does the dance and everything, I was
Yeah,
all over
that kind of became like a
TikTok.
trend all over the media.
Yeah. Uh, I'm excited for season 2. I
Me too.
I don't know if Wednesday is. I don't know if Wednesday's halted right now because of the writer's strike, or I know she talked about she was going to do more hands on with the production and everything. But I
Yeah, from
remember,
what I heard.
yeah, I remember her having an interview with somebody, and she was talking about how. So one of the things I didn't like about season 1 of Wednesday was them trying to do this whole love triangle aspect. Uh, I just felt like it was like it's overused, it's overplayed. And she even mentioned she didn't like that as well. So I think she talked about she's gonna like she wants to get rid of that and make season 2 more horror esque, which I would love.
And also more like a murder mystery type of thing,
Yeah,
or kind of like Pretty Little Liars. I mean, that's what I'm seeing at the season finale. So I feel like it's gonna be similar to, yeah, the horror aspect, but also Pretty Little Liars.
yeah, yes, and I'm all for that. Um, oh man, Pretty Little Liars. Apparently, I didn't know this, but there's like a new series of Pretty Little Liars that's on Max.
Yeah, I was so aware of that, but I don't know. Didn't seem to catch my attention because I grew up with the original Pretty Little Liars. Even I read the books too.
I remember. Oh man, I was so invested in that show when it first came out, but
Yeah,
then it kind of like I think
kind of died.
yeah, I started to lose interest because there was just a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? It was just
It wasn't that hype for you.
right. As the season, as it kind of like went on, it was getting kind of annoying because there were like just parts where like, oh my god, we're gonna find out who A is, and then nothing happens, and then it was just there's just too much different. There is the main storyline, and there's too many sub storylines going on. And just at a certain point, I was like, I don't care. It's too much. Um,
Yeah.
Riverdale is sort of is having this issue as well, and I like River. I like the first 3 seasons. I haven't watched the last 3. I think it's like 6 seasons total, but it's just following that same trope of like let's make this like a teen drama like Pretty Little Liars or like Nancy Drew. And I was just kind of like, we've had those before. You can be at
Or
least.
The Lion Game, somewhat. And My Life as an American Teenager. Have you ever seen that one?
Oh, is it The Secret Life of American Teenager?
I think, yeah, that was the one,
Oh
yeah.
God, that show. That was again. That was another show that I was like really invested in, but in it, I fell out of it because it felt like every episode was about them having sex or somebody
And
was
also,
getting pregnant.
dog got pregnant.
Yeah, so I was just kind of like, all right, I think I'm done with this. I did watch like the series finale of it, but I was just kind of like, okay, I don't want this anymore. I'm tired of it. And so it was just, oh my gosh. But yeah, I'm picky about my shows. I just don't watch anything. I'll watch like maybe like an episode or 2 or 3 to see if I like it, and if I don't, then I'm just kind of like I'm not watching this anymore.
I'm actually like that too sometimes, but if I see something that really, really captures my attention, then I'll just go for it.
Like let's see, and I told this in the previous episode. I was just like, it kind of did that with the X Files for me, where like
Mhm.
I knew about the X Files, but I never watched anything related to them. And then I watched it, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so hooked with the X Files. This is so good.
It really is.
Uh, let's see. Oh, a good show that you should watch. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but Community.
Community, I've never heard of that one.
Oh man, it has like Chevy Chase, Donald Glover's in it, Allison Brie. It's a really funny show. It's a very funny community college show for sure. It definitely will make you laugh. Uh, some other good shows. Man, I need to find something new to watch. Actually, I
There's
don't
like
know.
so many different
Yeah,
shows.
yeah. There's a. Oh yeah. Netflix has it, but it has like they did like a screen TV series. That was actually pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. Um, Black Mirror is definitely rough to watch. Uh, Depending on which episode you watch, there's like a couple of seasons, and each season is different. Like Miley Cyrus was in one, Bryce Dallas Howard was in one. Uh, but they could get rough to watch for sure.
Yeah, it really does.
So, but other than that, I think that is a good place for us to end this episode. This was a fun conversation, as per
Fun.
usual.
Thank you for having me
Um,
too.
so, for those who are watching on YouTube, as per usual, it should be up on screen now. But here's all the ways that you can follow and support. But for those who are listening on podcast, how can they follow and support you?
You guys can actually follow me on my Instagram, Brideofspiderman, and also my other social medias, which is TikTok, Twitch as well, and also my YouTube channel, which I'll be posting back on that platform really soon, but be sure to stay tuned.
As per usual, you guys, be sure to check out the channel as well. We got plenty of stuff going on. We're going through uh, our season 2 of Star Trek Online. And this week, I also have a surprise video game playthrough that I'm doing. So you guys are excited for that. But other than that, you guys know the drill. Hit the like and subscribe button, comment below. And other than that, we will see you guys in the next video. See ya.
Awesome.